Yo, welcome to another episode of TV Savalas. I got a special guest in the building, man. This is my brother from way back in the days. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself. But before we get into that, I want y'all to do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button on this, and also share this with 25 people that you don't know and 25 people that you don't like. All right, because we're gonna get into some things that's y'all know I'll be all over the place with it. So I want to show my brother some love. So go ahead and let the people know about what you got about yourself, brother.
Well, I'm Jovon Alexander. I trained at original Oakland Jeet Kune Do out of Oakland, California,
Man,
slash Hayward.
that's what's up, man. So Jovan, so just how I know you, man, and wait, let's go back real quick. Yo, you said the form of art that you do was what?
Jeet Kune Do. Well, it's Jeet Kune Do. Bruce
G
Lee's art.
G Kundo. Bruce Lee daughter.
Art.
Art, Bruce Lee art. Okay, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you was dating Bruce Lee daughter. I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Ooh.
I don't
Hey,
think
I'll
we
be
got...
rolling in the money, player. What you mean? So
You said out of
I have
Oakland?
all the swag.
Yeah, right. You said out of Oakland and Hayward. Okay. So you Bay Area.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna tell the people how I know you from elementary school, man. From,
Way back.
man, like 98, 99, somewhere like Parker Elementary.
Bro, we used to wrestle on the schoolyard, remember?
Yes, on the portables.
Bruh, hey. It was the days.
Hey,
We had the Wolf Pack, we had D Generation X, we had all the little pretend factions in the schoolhouse. Yeah.
so let's talk about that a little bit, man. You just brought back some memories, even
Oh,
with
dude.
the with us wrestling together back in the days, man. I think you used to always beat me up or something, bro. What's up, man?
Me? No.
X Pac.
No. Hey, you had all the big friends. Me and my partners was the little dudes. But yeah, we used to have a lot of fun. That was like the thing to look to when we all used to talk about wrestling. Like, I mean, to this day, me and my friends still do. Like, that's still the thing. I went to Japan. I had to slide to the New Japan shop to get me some merch while I was out there.
Wow.
So
So you went
yeah,
you went to Japan, the country,
yeah.
to get some merch, some wrestling
Well,
merch.
no. So I was already going, and I
Okay,
said,
okay.
"Yeah, I gotta slide to the New Japan shop, an authentic Bullet Club T-shirt." I said because I could get a knockoff, but I'm like, I'm go here. I went there, and you go through the doors, and all the wrestlers that had been there had signed the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and it was lit.
That's what's up, man. Dang, that's crazy. So you send me in the message, you send me the NWO Too Sweet. Was it the Too Sweet one?
Yeah, yeah.
Sky Hall?
Oh man, Diesel, Big Daddy
Diesel?
Cool,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
my man Hogan.
Hogan,
You
you
know,
know,
despite
Hollywood.
controversies, I still mess with him on the wrestling tip, just not the personal tip.
So let's talk about just growing up in Oakland right now, man. Because like, how was that for you growing up, like in the Bay in
Um,
Oakland?
it was rough, dude. Like, which is kind of what inspired me to, because of how rough it was. One, being biracial, looking like way different from everyone else. With the red hair and all that good shit stuff. Uh, it was tough. So you know, things was it was cool sometimes, but then sometimes it get a little bad. But all in all, Oakland was cool. Like Parker was cool. Like a lot of the schools that I went to taught me a lot. Like very I say I had the privilege of going to like a lot of Afrocentric schools. So I got to learn a lot about African history, which like a lot of people who didn't go to schools like that didn't learn. And so I'd say things, I'd be like, you didn't know that? And they're like, no, I wasn't taught that. And I'm like, how? And then understand, oh, where I went to school, who was my teachers, and that's why like my education was a little different than most people because of being in an Afrocentric type school.
Wow. So what was it that that made your parents or whoever put you in those kind of schools? Like after.
The thing is, so my mom went to Parker. Like she grew up in the same neighborhood I did, so I was just there, and so I ended up going there. Then after that I went to King, and King was kind of the same thing. Then I moved to Modesto for like a 6 months, and that was like culture shock because I go from being the white kid to being the black kid, which was which was a really interesting thing because I'm always in like this when it comes to people. I'm always in like this really great area. Depending on who I'm next to, I stand out more. So when I went to like a school like that, it was flipped. Everything was the opposite for me. Or I went from being uncool to very cool. And so then when I moved back, it was back to normal, so to speak. Which it was an interesting experience. Like coming back to Oakland after living somewhere else, you kind of see like how the educational system is so different. Because like when I went to a different school, way out, we got to dissect frogs, and science was like a very serious thing. Get back to Oakland, and it's all bookwork. Which I'm not blaming the teachers or nothing like that, but it's just you get what you get. Funding and all that stuff is important.
So your journey took you from Oakland to Modesto, back to the Bay, and you seen the big difference in the education format.
Mm-hmm.
Were you inspired to do well, or because of the difference, or like how did it inspire your education?
Well, because of where I was, like when I came back to Modesto, it's like I was ahead, so to speak. Like it was like everything was easy, and it wasn't challenging. Then when I got to high school, like subjects like science became boring because it was all bookwork. Like you didn't get to do anything. It was just here, read this, and it's like you can't really learn that way just by reading. Like you have to do. Like you have to be able to read and do. Otherwise, you don't retain it. So it was that's what made stuff like that difficult. But as far as like anything else, it was kind of easy because it was like, oh, I learned this months ago. Like,
so you was ahead of the game.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. It is a trip when you say when you went to Parker, because I mean not Parker, when you went to King of States, it's not King of States no more. They switched the school up.
What is it now?
It's like something else now. I think it was like a daycare or something, or it was something else.
Oh.
When I went there a few years ago, but I know when I was at King and then I left, and when I left, that's when you got there, and I ended up going to Westlake to school all the way across town. I still was living in East Oakland, but I ended up going to school all the way by the lake. I wish I would have stayed at King, man. I would have loved to hung out with you some more.
Oh
man.
yeah, man. It would have been cool. It would have been cool. But I know you went to Westlake, like a lot of my friends. Like a lot of my friends I went to high school with, like you went to Westlake with, like Johnny.
Yeah, that's my boy Johnny. Yeah, I call him Joy. That's my boy.
So he told me the funniest story, right? Because when he first met me, him and his cousin, they didn't like me, right? They thought they got the wrong impression of me because when we went to a continuation school together. So he was like, yeah, man, we was plotting on you. We was plotting to get you. He said, but I found out you was cool. I was like, hey, man, it is what it is.
Little Johnny didn't want no problems with you, man. You got them hands for him.
Hey, not back then. Not back then.
All right. So what high school did you end up going to?
Oh, I went to Mac.
Okay, Mac. So you go to school at Mac. Are you into the martial arts art then at Mac, or no? That's later.
Well, I wanted to, but couldn't afford it, right? So what ends up happening was I joined the wrestling team. Like the coach ran across me in the hallway and was like, hey man, you look like you'd be a 105 pounder. He's like, why don't you come out for the wrestling team? And I'm like, sure, whatever, man. So I go, thinking it's like pro wrestling. I'm like, oh, for sure. I go. And the funniest thing, right, is this dude is like one of my closest friends to this day. So I go, and this cat named Larry. Larry's around my size. We both, we kind of in there. And he just like thoroughly embarrasses me. And I'm like, man, I want to quit. I was like, I'm done. But what ended up happening was like, man, if I don't come back, I'll never be able to live this down. So for like the whole year, I did not like we was just always at it just because we were close to the same weight. Like he was a weight class above me. And like after the first year, I became like one of my closest friends. Like we used to just do everything together. Like he's still one of my good friends, like to this day. Like I just seen him like the other day. But we started in the same year. Then I graduated before him. Then I came back his senior year and was like the assistant coach. So then I was like coaching, which was really funny because that's when Castlemont had a team, like their first year, and the guy was like around his weight. And I was talking to one of the girls over there, you know. I wasn't doing nothing, but I was just talking. And I was like, hey, what weight class he wrestles? She's like, oh, he wrestles 135. I was like, oh, you about to wrestle my boy. I was like, he finna lose. I was like, what do you mean? I said, oh, just trust me. Just get out there. My homeboy grab a hold of him. Then, like, he wrestled like two type of ways. It was if he could muscle you, he would. But if he couldn't, then he'd use his technical skills. So he touched up with him for a little bit and was like, couldn't get him. Took him down, and he got him out of here fast. And I walked over and said, I told you.
You could have won some money off that, man.
I mean, you know, it ain't no fun like that. Me and him was like, we won the league championships in our respective weight classes our first year, and then my second year I won the league championship again.
The champ's in the building, y'all.
It was, you know, my third year I was like a runner-up, which not even gonna get into the politics of that because you know how them refs be, but it is what it is. But like Skyline had a wrestler my second year, and I was the most experienced person in my bracket, so I kind of already knew. I'm like, you already have all the experience because I've been getting my ass kicked the previous year, so I'm like, I got this. Like, so I wrestled this one guy from Skyline like 4 times in 1 year. The first time I seen him, like, you know when you good at something and you see someone, you just like, oh, he don't even know. Like I saw him, and was like, oh, it was that
right.
He don't even know. So the first time
he's about to get this business.
Right. So we had been working on some moves. I said, oh, I'm about to try this move. We was trying to practice on him. So tied with him, and I drop one knee, and I come up and I grab him by the waist, and I bring him all the way down. Then I keep wrestling him like throughout the year, and we meet in the finals. And I gave him the bait. Like it was this thing where I leave my leg out to let him take it. Like, go ahead, shoot. I gave him the bait, and he took it. And I just like hooked his head and, you know, pinned him. So then the following year we wrestled again, but this time he's a weight class above me. And I wrestled his teammate first, and I wrestled him like an exhibition. Because it's like, yeah, I'm thinking about coming back down to 112s now. I'm a very competitive person, and I know this. So I decided to pin him on the S of Skyline. I was like, I'm gonna get him there.
Oh, so you made a point. You made a statement.
I'm gonna get. It was that I'm gonna get him there. And when I got him there, after the match, I said, "Hey, so you think about coming back down to 112s?" No, I'm gonna stay at 19s. I was like, "Good idea."
You cold-blooded for that, man.
I'm, you know, some good times. You know, I could have been nicer though. I could have been nicer, but you know, you live and you learn.
Hey, you get what you get, and he got what he deserved, man. Put him on the S, man. Forget Skyline. I used to want to go to Skyline, but then things didn't work out. But anyway, you know, your wrestling career in high school, I tried it my freshman year at Oakland Tech. I think you're familiar with Coach Sherman.
Oh, Coach Sherman is my dude. Let me tell you. So his son, Craig. So I'm in high school. Craig is in junior high. Now, he used to come to our practices. They used to practice with us. And my coach would put me in there with Craig. And Craig would just throw me around. Boom, all the time. And it was so embarrassing, right? And I'd be just frustrated. So I'm like, dude, how is this little kid just doing this to me? Like, man. So my coach pulls me to the side and he said, hey, man, he's been wrestling since he was little. That's the coach's son. And I said, never mind. Never mind. Let me get in there with him again. Because then I started to, like, soak up all the game. Because I'd just be watching how they do things. And I go do that to other people.
Exactly. So, see, you smart, man.
Yeah, I be.
And so yeah, it was like and I told him that recently. And he said, man, I never knew that. I said, yeah, dude, after I found out like how long you had been practicing, I was like, let me get in there with him some more because I'm gonna learn some stuff. And that's like the approach I take to everything. It was like if somebody's better than me at something, I want to get in there with him anyway. Like let me I'm gonna learn something.
Right. Soaking up that knowledge. That's what's up, man. Yeah. Coach Sherman, man, things didn't work out with me for the wrestling team because of my grades my freshman year. So I never was eligible to get out there. I remember Coach Sherman was like, he really wanted me to, you know, I did all the training with him. And I remember Marshawn Lynch used to be up there with us and he was about to get Marshawn to join the wrestling team. And Marshawn was like, I ain't about to be no wrestler, man. I'm playing ball. You feel me? But I know, and I seen Coach Sherman again when I was in Pittsburgh. I seen him randomly like at a Food Max or something or a Food for Less I seen him randomly, and he still remembered who I was. That was like years later. But yeah, man, I got a lot of respect for Coach Sherman, man. He used to put it down.
Dude.
He used to be like, with a man first name Ashley, you got to be hard.
Hey, you know, when I found out Ashley used to be a guy's name, like Ashley, Courtney, and stuff like that, I was like, word? Because I thought the same thing, like, why is that a girl's name? But yeah, that dude was something else. Like when I found out, like, you know, he was an Olympic alternate and like all these things he had accomplished, I said, yeah, let me get over there and talk to Coach Sherman. He about to tell me some stuff.
Right.
Because like we used to practice with him all the time because like our their team would be like really small, so there would be like these gaps where they would have a guy in a weight class and we wouldn't. So it kind of always worked out to where we never directly competed against each other. So it was kind of like this. They would come over and practice with us. We'd go over there. And man, I learned so many little tricks from the Oakland Tech guys because they were always sharp. Like I pulled one out on the dude and I saw it once. Like a dude shot on me, had my waist, and I'm trying to scoot out because I didn't want him to score. Man, I had saw one of the wrestlers. His name was Matthew Hicks. He did this move where he had hooked the guy's head, put his foot in the crotch, and kicked him over and rolled. I saw him do it once, and I'm like, "Well, if I get it, I'm gonna win. If I don't, I'm finna lose. It's a gamble." I got it. My coach was like, "Where'd you learn that?" Oh, I saw Matthew do it last week.
Picked it up just that quick. Look, that's what's up, man.
It was a gamble. It was a big gamble, and it paid off.
Right. So, all right. So that's high school. So after high school, as far as the fight and everything and the training, where did that come in at?
Well, let me see. I did some wrestling for a Skyline College. Like I took a class like where you do like 2 a day. So I did that for a little while, and then like after that I didn't do anything. I was like inactive. Then I wanted to take like some self-defense classes because you know the world's crazy and everybody think they can fight till it's time to fight, and I didn't want to be one of the folks. So
Right.
I was talking to one of my aunts, and she was like, "Well, why don't you finally do something you wanted to do, which was martial arts?" I'm like, you know what? All right, I got this time because I had like basically split up with my son's mom and stuff. So I had like a lot of got a lot of free time. Man on town now. I got a lot of free time.
Right.
So I happened to just email like my teacher, and he was just like, "Yeah, come on over," yada yada, because I had read up on like Jeet Kune Do and I wanted to take it, but the only schools they really tell you about is like Los Angeles and Seattle. But the Oakland school was like actually where the art started. Like that.
So you were right there in the home base. You didn't even know it, huh?
Exactly. And so I emailed him. I go over there, and this dude is cool. Like just one of the most laid back people. Because I had like been looking around, and some of the martial arts teachers are a bit they take themselves too seriously. And you just like, but he was just like cool. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm not with all that." And like so, start working out. Next thing you know, a couple years went by. I'm like one of his I'm not gonna say one of his favorite students, but like me and my teacher have like hung out, went to like watch fights together, like sat down, had beers together. It's like a different kind of relationship than like a superficial, I only see you at school kind of thing. It's like one of my friends.
Gotcha. Y'all vibing on a whole different level. Not just as far as training and the arts go, but outside of that, like on a personal level. It probably makes it working with each other a lot better too, right?
Yeah, because like he'll just call me on some regular stuff. Like, hey, how's everything? Like we went and watched boxing matches together. Like if there's a big fight, we sit down and watch the fight together. Like just regular stuff. Like I went to his dad's 84th birthday party, which was Bruce Lee's student. I went to his party. That was lit. They had a mariachi band and whatnot. So I'm in there, doing my thing.
Man, I know you want to hurt them on the dance floor.
Hey, man, I be trying. I got the same old two-step.
The Pod Piper is here, y'all. The Pod Piper.
Hey, I hit him with the same two-step all around the world. Mexico, China, just a little slower, wherever I'm at.
Man, and so you start training and you getting into it right there in the Bay in Oakland. Under the art form of which Bruce Lee created.
Yeah. So like when he had that big when the thing with him and the Chinese community about him not teaching and all that really famous story, right? So it happened in the Bay Area. Like Jack Man Wong, the dude he fought, was teaching in San Francisco. Bruce Lee was living at James Lee's house, which is like arguably, because other people dispute this, but Bruce Lee lived with him, was teaching in his garage most of the time. And they kind of founded it together because James Lee was a World War II veteran, welder. He did all these things. He also was a published author too. Like he was doing shit before Bruce Lee came. And so people will try to say, oh, he was Bruce Lee's student and all this stuff, whatever. Like he was doing his own shit before Bruce Lee got there too. And so Bruce Lee came, they had a school together. That didn't work out, but James was still teaching out of his house. So everyone was like, oh, Bruce Lee shut down all his schools. And what they say, James Lee wasn't teaching. It's like, no, they didn't say he wasn't teaching, but it was like they shut down all the schools, the Oakland school too. But it's like, it was James Lee's school. Like he was teaching out of his house. So you telling me you told a grown man you can't teach no more? Shut it down out of his house.
Right.
I mean, but
somebody lying.
I ain't here to dispute all that because I get dragged enough for that online. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. But
you know the truth.
So, yeah. So like I started doing that. Then like within my first year, I was breaking like bricks under James Lee's method. Like I think in my first like 3 months, I broke my first 2 bricks.
Wait a minute. So you trained for 2 months and you breaking bricks. 3 months and you breaking bricks.
I was going like so it was like because back then I was working part-time, so I was training like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, twice on Monday, twice on Wednesday, once on Friday, and I was doing iron palm like every time I'd go there. So like by the 3rd month, I think I have a video on my YouTube channel. I broke my first brick, I broke another one, and it was just like because it was like all the other things that everybody was learning, I didn't have to learn, like footwork and stuff like that. I didn't need to learn it because I can wrestle. And wrestling footwork, to some extent, is like the same as boxing footwork, which is the footwork that we use for the most part. So it was like I didn't need to learn the footwork. All the drills, everything I already instinctively knew. So I got to do all the other stuff.
Oh, my bad. So you're ahead of the game because of your previous training with wrestling.
Oh, man.
And so you out here breaking bricks only after 3 months of training. I can't break a brick now. Could you teach me how to break a brick?
I'll teach you that after the meeting. I'll shoot you some notes. I'll shoot you some notes on how to do it.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that your hands are deadly weapons.
I mean, I guess so.
All right, so competitions. What was your first competition like?
Oh, as far as martial arts?
As far as martial arts, yes.
Yeah, this is a good story. So, as far as Jeet Kune Do in particular, like it's actually for street fighting. It's not for like for that kind of stuff, right? But there was this event, and like Dragon Ball Z, right? You remember the Cell games? Me and my friends called like the Cell games, and so basically I had to convince, like I assembled a squad because I wanted to go, and I was like, man, I ain't trying to go down here solo. So I asked my teacher if it was cool first, because I don't really like to do stuff without his permission, because he won't teach me, and he was like, yeah, I mean, do you? Okay, cool. So I asked a couple of my buddies. I asked some more experience in my buddies before, because I'm like, even in your team, there's always like your little clique, or your friends that you roll with on the regular. So I asked my boys. I'm like, hey man, y'all trying to go? So it was me, my one homeboy, we call him Roke. It was my Chinese friend Sam, who just passed recently. My Vietnamese partner Pierre, and then my Filipino partner. So we the Rainbow Coalition, as my mom would call us. So we go to LA, and it's like this. They call it the International Jeet Kune Do. What is it? Combatives thing. IJKDC. Whatever it's called. Now I had previously talked to the head of the tournament online. He was one of them folks that was talking real reckless online, like, and we from Oakland. You know how it go. Okay, when I see you, please,
right.
That you had, please. So we go down there and we get there, like, because you had to register online. So I guess they didn't think we show up even though we had already registered. So we get down there and we're like, oh, we're from the Oakland school. And the guy behind the counter says, oh shit. Because
he already knew what it was, huh?
So the Oakland school is called the Fighting School. Like, our school has been known since the 60s as the Fighting School. Wow. And so that's just how it is, which is kind of strange amongst martial arts schools. You're the Fighting School. So we get down there and, man, let me tell you, okay, my fault. So the night before we was hanging out and stuff, and I had bought clothes to fight in, like just comfortable stuff. I woke up and was like, you know what? I'm just going in my pajamas. Fuck it.
So you went to a competition in your pajamas?
Yeah. Like, if you see the photos, I got on my Jack Skellington glow in the dark pajama pants. Like, not even like, I just threw on my school shirt and was like, man, I'm going like this.
That's wild. All right.
Rolled up, I'm going like this. And man, light work. Just light work. It was some light work. Like, my boy knocked the dude out, had him face down with his butt in the air.
That's horrible, man.
And these was like, they was doing things to like bend the rules for their guys, which to each his own. To each his own. It's usually a conflict of interest when your teacher is also the referee in your match, but it's none of my business,
Wait, so they would cheat? That's horrible, man.
Hey, my friend I had got a point deducted for punching a guy who was running away and kept running out of bounds. And I committed to a punch and I hit him, -1 point. I'm like, oh, okay. No warning, nothing. I'm like, oh, okay. My friend gets kneed in the face, which is against the rules. And it's in the rules. No knees. He gets kneed in the face. And the ref, who is his teacher, asked my friend, do you want to quit? Not even, don't deduct a point or nothing. Just, do you want to quit? And my friend, who's like the most inexperienced out of all of us, decides, nah, and keeps fighting.
So he's gonna get knocked out.
Nah. My friend's just tough. Like,
No, not your friend. I'm talking about the other dude he was fighting.
Oh, he was just, they was doing stuff to try to prove, like, I guess they were better. And I'm like, man, if you got to cheat to prove you better, I mean, that says a lot. Because, I like when we spar, we just wear gloves. They had on headgear, these little like helmets, a chest pad, shin guard, all this crap. And I'm like, man, we just spar with gloves on and a mouthpiece. Like, closest thing to fighting.
I've seen a couple of your videos, like in the garage or somewhere, and you don't look like you have on too much equipment, man, except for, like you say, your gloves. And I don't even see you with a mouthpiece on. I guess because you know that you in the garage or wherever you be at. But
no, we have mouthpiece.
Okay.
Yeah, like, you normally a mouthpiece and just gloves, like, because it's like, yo, if you really like, because everyone asks about like uniforms and things like that. I'm like, well, if it's a real life situation, you're not finna wear the uniform. You're not finna be wearing that. So you might as well train in what you're gonna be fighting in the streets, right? So I wear jeans and, you see me doing high kicks and jeans and, sometimes I tear the crotch, but it's cool. Like, it's cool, but, it's like, if you want to train for real life, and you got to approach it like, yo, this is what I'm finna be wearing. So
that's crazy, man, to know that you just get it in whatever you're wearing. Like, even if you're going to play ball, like, you're gonna throw some shorts on or something, but if you're going to fight, you're not gonna fight no flip-flops or nothing. You're gonna put not some nice shoes on, but something with some grip. But
so I got invited to I made friends with a professional boxer, right? And I ended up like sparring with him. Yo, I got in the ring in my jeans. He's like, "You not finna?" I was like, "Nah." I said, "This is how I get down. Throwing my gloves, mouthpiece, headgear, and we in there." And his coach was also a wrestler from Oakland who also wrestled for Coach Sherman too.
Wow, connections, baby. The chain is long, man.
So like, that's just kind of the thing, right? Like, when I was training in China, same thing. I'd be training in jeans. I'm just like, yo, man, I like, I'm not dissing nobody. I'm like, but this is just me. Like, because I know when I'm finna use what I've been practicing, it's gonna be whatever I got on.
So let's talk about your travels outside the country.
Okay.
How did that start? Like, what was your first place that you went to? How'd you get your passport? Like all that stuff. Like,
Well, I got my passport because I had wanted to travel, like, because I was like, man, there's got to be more to the world than this. And so went and got my passport and hadn't decided where I was going to go. First, I was going to go to Europe. Like, I was thinking England or something. But then one of my friends was like, where do you really want to go? And I was like, man, I really want to go to Japan. I really want to go to Tokyo. He's like, go there. So it was me and my homeboy, Anthony. Like, we used to work together. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to invite one of my other friends, my friend Sam, because he travels a lot. And I was like, he could show me the ins and outs. And so what ended up happening was we all booked our tickets. And it was like, I think like a month before the trip, my boy Ant was just like, hey, man, I had to cancel. Like, something with his mom. And she was like on him about travel and stuff, about Trump and stuff. And all
it always goes back to Trump.
Right. And me and my other homeboy was like, man, ain't nobody beefing with Japan, but all right, I guess. And so we went, and we went to Taiwan first, like, because we had a little layover. So we went to Taiwan, and we spent like a day there, got to do some sightseeing. Then after, we tried some night food. We saw like people sleeping in the park, like families out late night walking their kids, eating. Like, it's 11 at night, and families are just out chilling. I was like, damn, it's real laid back here. So are we doing it wrong? Then I go to Japan, and it was kind of the same thing. It's like Asian culture is like the opposite, because they be out at night. I mean, it's safer, of course. So they were out at night. You go to like in Japan, you see people like drunk in the streets, and here you drunk in the street, you getting arrested, you going to jail. These people, man, these folks was like genuinely concerned about people drunk. Like, if you was like passed out drunk, here we take pictures of them, might do something funny. No, they called an ambulance, and they be trying to help these folks. So we go to Tokyo for like 2 weeks. Then after that, I went to, where did I go? Oh, I went to Tokyo again for like a month after my first trip. Then because I was trying to get a teaching job there because I wanted to live in Tokyo. Still do. So then I came back because just didn't line up. Then I went to Mexico. I went to Mexico because I was helping a pro boxer train for a fight. So I was in like a training camp where I was like one of his sparring partners.
Viva la Raza.
Huh?
I said Viva la Raza.
Man. So like I was I sparred him and then his other teammate. Like that was cool. Like and then so I go there to Mexico. I end up like working the corner for like 2 professional fights. So I was like a corner man with the coach, of course, Coach D Pooler. If you he's probably somebody who's a cool hell of knowledge and stuff. Put you up on some game. The one who used to wrestle for Oakland Tech. So I went there with them. We did that. We did some sightseeing. Then after that, then I moved to China.
So I'm sorry about that, y'all.
Don't worry.
So you were in Mexico and then you moved to China.
Yeah,
How you moved to China, bro?
Huh?
I said, how you moved to China?
Was looking for a teaching job, found one, and resigned from my one job and went.
What does your family and friends say about that? Like, you just going to China?
People don't believe stuff until you do it. Like, it's one of them things. Like, I tell people all the time the stuff I'm getting ready to do. No one listens. And then when I do it, oh man, you really did that. Like my first trip, I said, yo, I'm finna go, take a trip overseas. Nobody believed me. Then when I'm posting photos of it, oh, you really did that. I'm like, yeah. Like most people, when they say they're gonna do something, they usually do it. And so yeah, I moved to China. I was got some sparring matches there while I was living there teaching. Like I taught English, which was a lot of fun. I made friends with some Wing Chun guys, which was it was like a movie, right? Really funny. So I'm walking down the street, like I had my headphones on, listening to some DMX. It was one.
No.
Yeah, hey, it was one of them kind of days. So I'm walking, and there's this guy outside. He's like leaning on the wall. He's smoking a cigarette, and there's a wooden dummy like next to him. And so my Chinese ain't great. So I just look, and I'm like, yo, can I? And he just, cool. Put my stuff down, set my phone down. I start working on the dummy, and then he looks, smoking a cigarette, starts recording me. Then, like, by the time I realized it, because I've been out there for like a few hours, right? I had like a crowd around me, and I'm like, this is awkward, because they're just watching me just get down. I hadn't even, when you're doing something, you don't realize what's going on around you. I was just doing my thing.
Right, you was in the zone.
So he like sends my a video of me working out to his friend who's a Wing Chun teacher, and he like shoots over from across town to meet me. Now, this is the really funny thing is they don't speak English. I don't speak Chinese, right? So
right.
The translator to talk. So I end up like becoming friends with the guy, and we would just hang out and just do martial arts like together. Like we really couldn't talk.
So wait, y'all not talking. Y'all just meet up, or you just meet them somewhere, and y'all just start doing martial arts.
Yeah, just work out.
So how can y'all like take moves off of each other, like communicate, like I'm a swing and you duck, like know?
So so you seen those Ip Man movies, right?
Yeah, I seen the first one.
Okay, so Jeet Kune Do, like the foundation of it is Wing Chun. So we learn Wing Chun, but also can box, because boxing is also a part of it. Right. So like those are part of my art. So I can do both. So he was a Wing Chun teacher. So I already knew, I understood. It was like we spoke the same language, not verbally, but physically we spoke the same language.
That's what I'm about to say. Right.
So
it was like sign language, but for martial arts.
Right. Like say Kung Fu's universal language, right? So when he would show me stuff, and I'd be like, oh, okay. And I'd do it. And then he'd let me work with the students and stuff like that. And we just hang out.
Bro, that is so dope, man. Like to be able to like actually train with someone without verbal communication and still like be on point with that other person. Like that's amazing, bro.
It's I mean, when you are in the I guess fighting arts and you meet someone who's a practitioner of a similar art, it's like y'all understand each other. Like you might not understand what he's saying, but when he does something, you're like, oh, that move, got you. Because that's most of the time what it would be. He'd show me something, and I'd do it, and like, or if I didn't know it, he'd show me it, and I'd add it to my art, like my arsenal. Like he showed me this little slick little elbow move he did, and because one day it was just me and him playing hands. Like we were just working out at the studio playing hands, and he threw an elbow, and I felt it. Like I was like, man, where is he going? Because he just came in and he threw it, and the difference between like a lot of fighters, they don't move their head, right? Like you see them and they'll stand there and eat a punch, but good boxers move their head. So we, like at my school or most Jeet Kune Do guys, know how to move their heads. So when I felt him like slide, I'm like, something ain't right. I just slid my head back. I watched the elbow just. I said,
"Oh, you throwing elbows?"
Yeah, I said, "Ooh, okay."
Right.
Stuff like that. So I sneak that in on my friends, but I do it to where I'm just practicing the motion, so I don't hit them. And I was like, okay. And then he would do stuff like my teacher always told me this. He said, hey, wherever you go, you be on point. He said, because they're gonna test you. And so during this session, he tried to test me. Like he did something, he slapped me, and I said, okay. Slapped him back. And was like, all right.
Like we on the same level. You slap me, I'm gonna slap you back. I'm not going out like that.
He always told me, you never leave even. You always leave one over. And I'm like, let me tell you, he put me up on so much game about stuff. He's like, look, you go to these places, if they can't handle you, they're not gonna let you do what you do. They're gonna say you can't do that here, you can't do this. And I've been to places like that. Like I've met practitioners of the same style tell me that's wrong. That like I met a Jeet Kune Do teacher while I was in China, and he was like telling me a lot of things that I was doing were wrong. Like we would do like techniques that were like boxing-esque techniques, right? And I'll throw a hook. Oh no, that's wrong. I'm like, what? And he showed me how to do it. I'm like, there will be no knee, nothing. Now, when you throw a hook, you want to throw it like this, and you twist your knee like you stomping a cigarette and use the whole side of your body. It's this whole motion. He wasn't doing that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, fan. And I had told him previously, like, I've trained with professional boxers. I've been in the boxing gym. But the one thing is, I'm not going to be rude to a teacher in front of his students. Like, I'm going to have manners. And okay.
Super
even
respectful.
Even though I know That's not right. I was just like, it's not okay, man. Your house, your rules.
Right. You gotta
Like,
respect it while you're there. It's understandable why you don't want to cause a scene.
right. And this, it's like
It's not
when
worth
when
it.
you meet people who do the same thing you do, and if you're again, hey son, bring me my charger. When you meet people who do the same thing you do, it's if you're as good or even better, they feel threatened, even if you're not trying to like show them up. I was just like, I'm trying to befriend the guy because I'm like, yo, I'm here in a foreign land. We do the same thing. Let's be friends.
Right. We can
And
collaborate on some things.
yeah, and it just really wasn't that way, which is disappointing. But when you get into the politics of martial arts, it's, you understand like, oh, that's just how they get down. And then, to each his own. But I'll tell you this though, the other Chinese guys who practice stuff were cool as fuck. Cool as fuck. Like the Wing Chun guys, the kickboxers, the Sanda guys, hella cool. Like if this is a thing, right? Like, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff in the news talking about like how Chinese people and they don't like black people. I'm gonna tell you something. It's not that they don't like black people. They don't meet a lot of black people, so they be hella curious, right?
Okay.
They do, because most of the time they don't know. They only know what they see on TV, right? So it's curiosity. It's like, one, I'm gonna be a little safe because I don't know, but I'm gonna still ask questions. And culture is different. So something we might find offensive, they might not find offensive. Like I've been on dates with girls and they ask me about like how much money I'm making. I'm like, excuse me? You ask me about my income? You ain't my woman.
We don't do that out here. We don't do that out here.
Hey,
You feel me?
exactly.
Don't dig in my pockets, lady.
Exactly. But it's a cultural thing. They don't, And so if a Chinese person is your friend, they gonna ride for you. Like the dude who didn't speak English, right? My Wing Chun friend. Come swoop me no matter what. Hey, I'm gonna just come grab you. You want some food? Here's some food. You want something to eat? Here. Bro, I've been to this man's house, had dinner, whoop-de-whoop. Don't even speak the same language. That's why to me, when people be saying that stuff, I'm like, man, that's wild. That's wild, because my experience is different. That's wild.
So how long did you end up staying out there?
Let me see. I went in June. I came home. So I actually came home on a holiday, right? I came home last January for a holiday, 2 weeks. I was supposed to go back to my apartment, back to work. Corona happened. Here I am.
So this is why when I was trying to connect with you, even right now to do this, I was kind of skeptical of asking you at a certain time because I didn't know if you were here or were
If I was
you
there?
out there.
Oh, you mean because of my location on the post?
No, not even because of your location, because I see that you travel so much.
Right.
And one day I'll see you at nighttime, you'll be in Japan or somewhere over there, and then the next day I'll see you'll be in East Oakland. I'm just like, where's this dude at?
So the thing with the posts is really funny because I discovered this from IG models. Is your location will affect your views at times, right? So if I like my videos, like some of my videos get like 1,000 views, sometimes less, more, sometimes more, and it's usually the location. And I peeped this from IG models.
Crazy. So you got the game.
So if you follow my school's Instagram, like I posted a video of my teacher like yesterday, and I got like 4,000 views.
Wow.
And it's just a game. Like I'm still here in the States. I ain't went nowhere. Can't go anywhere right now. So, but people be like, why do you do the locations like that? And I'm like, man, views, bro.
Right. You get them up. That's what's up. So just tell us a little bit about just like the love for the martial arts in general that you have. Like just talk about that.
Okay, well, it's kind of like the Wu-Tang, right? Like, I love Kung Fu films. And I always wanted to like, man, I want to learn some of that stuff like that. And so then when I got the opportunity to learn some stuff, and then like you kind of see like how everything is interconnected. Like, because martial arts don't teach you just about fighting. You teach you about like life, how to handle conflict, just like how to, a lot of things. It's not, people think when they see that it's all about fighting. I'm like, not really. Because I'm like, sometimes it's fighting without fighting a lot of the time. where it's knowing when to fight, when not to fight. Like, it's just like you learn a lot of stuff. It gives you self-confidence. Like, and so for me, like, cause I learned like some Chinese medicine. Like I learned breathing techniques. I learned like a lot more than just like fighting, which like I went to when I was in China, and I was like talking to one of like the girls over there. Like I learned how to make Chinese medicine, like the herbal stuff, right? So she asked me, she's like, she said, "Where'd you learn this?" I was like, "Oh, my teacher taught me." She's like, "Oh, is your teacher Chinese?" I was like, "No, he's Mexican." See?
I bet she was messed up. I mean, she was like, huh? Like, huh?
Right. That was the thing. She was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, it's just part of our lineage. Like we learn the iron palm, we learn how to make medicine, we learn like qigong and stuff like that, which is all like internal stuff to like help the body inside. Which you see all the old folks doing qigong and stuff like that, and all the old folks can make the medicine too, but the younger generation can't."
Well, we rather go get a pill or smoke some weed and call it a day.
Right, but like when it comes to like the internal stuff, right? Well, with the medicine, it's like you can use it for like everything. Like because I made medicine for like my hands, so I can keep conditioning them to break. And it's like alcohol based, right? Now, of course, you can buy it, but it's much cheaper if you just make it. And like I learned how to make my own similar to Tiger Balm. Learn how to make that. Like, bro, when you just put the time in to learn some stuff, you'll find out like it's much simpler to just do it yourself.
What's up, man? So the martial arts taught you a lot more than just the physical fighting, but mentally, and also I guess I'm gonna say spiritually, as far as learning more about like the body and different things that can help as far as the herbs and all this and the medicines. That's what's up, man. Um, can you let the people know like what else you got going on, like as far as like merchandise or YouTube channels and stuff of that nature, where they can
Okay.
find you if they wanted to vibe with you on that level?
Well, so I got my own YouTube channel. It's the KOS 7900. I'm sure you know why it's 7900. Uh, then I also do my school's YouTube channel, which is original Oakland JKD. Both of them, like I post on both. There's I also design T-shirts at a Sage Style Art. Like you just search it up. It's on my Instagram. My school's Instagram is original Oakland JKD. You can check us out there. All the contact information is on there too. Then there's my personal IG, which is Double O Soul JKD. Like the old you remember that dude, Agent Double O Soul?
Double O Soul.
Yeah, Agent Double O Soul was like back in the 70s.
Yeah, it sounds like something that I seen that I heard about on most recently though on man, what was that show my baby be watching? Magic Motown, Agent Double O Soul.
Hey, he was one in Motown.
I think they had it. Yeah. But that's what's up. So y'all be sure to go follow my man Jovon if y'all into the martial arts thing. And if y'all not into it, go learn something new. I learned a whole bunch tonight. Like for real. And traveling out the country has been amazing. Sounds like, man.
Yeah, I meant to tell you about the story about the African before we get out of here.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, please.
So when I first go to Japan, right? I'm thinking I'm not finna see nobody. We get to Tokyo and it was so many Africans. And I'm hitting like I'm in this bar. The doorman was black, right? Because my boy lost his phone in Taiwan, so we trying to like maneuver with no internet. I had one phone, but
that's hard when you got no internet in today's world.
So it had to
and you foreign.
Already know. So we get the Wi-Fi. We slide into this bar, and the dude at the door was black, and then the bartender was a black dude, and we in there just chilling. Everyone's buying me drinks. Like all the black folks are buying me drinks, and my Chinese friend is like, "You know them?" No. Like they come in, they see me, give me a hug, like they knew me for years.
Like my brother.
Exactly. I was like, hey, man. I said, we just black folks in a foreign land. I'm like, that's just how it is. It was the same way in China. It was the same way in Vietnam. Like anywhere I've went, if I ran into another black person, we sat down, we had some drinks, some laughs. It was big chilling. That's why, like, I be trying to put people up on game because, like, it'd be a lot of that. Like some of my friends here, the Africans don't like black people from America. I'm like, not true. I was like, not true at all. I was like, I'd have met so many. I done met some everywhere, and it's always been nothing but love. They treat me like they knew me forever.
Yeah, man, that's big because I just came from East Africa myself in Tanzania, and like we met a lot of good people who thought we were from there. You know what I mean? When we touched down, and like you said, like, and then I was in the military too, so I traveled different places, and I didn't come across too many other Africans in like Dubai and all that, but the people that I did come across, it was for the most part, it was all love and respect. And a lot of us who haven't traveled, we're blessed, bro. Like me and you, like to come from Oakland and to be able to see the world, like people that grew up in that area, which you just, you know what I mean, that Sam 900 block, all that, they still there, man. You know what I mean?
Man,
And from Nate Street to MacArthur to all that, man, they never even got outside of Oakland, and so we seen the world, bro. And so it's important that we share them stories that hey, it's more of us out there and we love each other. You feel me? Or we got each other's back. You feel me?
because the when I met the folks in Japan, like the dude who worked at the bar, he was just, like, because I went there a few times, like when I said I went there for a month, right? And he'd just be sliding me drinks here and there. I didn't know he owned the bar. Like he didn't work there. It was his establishment. That dude was one of my good friends too. Like it was his establishment.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I made some money.
oh, like this respect, and it's a lot of that where you go somewhere and you see people that look like you and they owning shit. They not just I'm just here working for somebody. Like no, man, I'm here to get it, and I'm here to get it. That's that.
You got it, man.
And so like that's that. I try to encourage people like, hey man, get out there, travel. Don't let these people tell you like, oh, these people don't like you. Go see for yourself. Like think for yourself, because trust me, you'll find out.
Exactly.
It's not like.
And it's good, man, that that you found something that took you around the world. You feel me? Like, and that's a wonderful thing. And people gotta find something that's gonna expand their mind.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And it's so much out there. Like so much out there, and it's like so much to learn. Cause it's like they once they get out there and see, like, man, this ain't the only place you gotta be.
Exactly.
Like you don't have to let like this world define you. Like you can go find your own path. Everybody's so like caught up in trying to be what other people want them to be instead of what they want to be.
Right, no doubt, man. 100% on that one. Well, man, I want to thank you, man, for your time and sharing your experiences. Hopefully, we get a chance to do this again, man, and talk about when Corona's over. Maybe you go back to China, Japan, and put in some more work and bring that knowledge back to the States.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. Like honestly, because man, I was having good times over there in China, building all these little connections and whatnot. Because it's like it's a lot of money to be made out there, and I mean good, not doing bad stuff, but like good money, like
right, legal money, yeah.
A lot of people don't even be like thinking about that. I'm like, man, you go to one of these countries and you found a school or something like that, or you invest in something out there, and instead of working for somebody, your money making money for you. It's like, but they don't even have the type of time. But
right.
they kind of need to learn.
You got to say that financial advice for another episode, my brother. You sound like you on it, man. Don't give them all the secrets, man.
Can't give them all the salt, right?
But I'm gonna let you go, my brother. Once again, it was good speaking with you and getting that knowledge. And I hope you and your family have a good night, man. I'm gonna get with you later on the next episode of TV Savalas, man.
Oh, most definitely, man. Oh yeah. If you want, we do a Mukjong Mondays on my school's YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. Y'all come check us out there every Monday. We doing episode 3 like tomorrow. It's original Oakland JKD. We're gonna be live. So if you want to ask
Oakland KD.
JKD.
JKD.
Yeah. I'm the director, so I probably won't be on camera, but I'll be behind the camera.
That's what's up, man.
But yeah, man, it was good talking to you, man.
You too, man. Many blessings, and stay tuned. We got to do it again, definitely, man. Have a good night, my brother.
You too, man.
Until next time, y'all. Peace out, TV Savalas with the boy Jovon Alexander, main martial arts expert. Let me get my E40 on real quick. You smell me? He gonna be the one that's gonna karate kick you, but then he gonna teach you about what's inside of your electrodes. All right, man. Peace out.
Hey, G.